Hey, I want to make a video today addressing, our friendly, brain-damaged, lead-loving reloaders out there, and I call them that with love, of course. What I want to call them is a bunch of... But, I figure YouTube might have a problem with that, and it might be hard to say that is lovingly. But I just want to address the problems they seem to have with me and what I feel about ammunition. They seem to think that I want to outlaw lead ammunition. They send me these emails all the time. I can't believe you're trying to outlaw lead ammunition. You're going to kill the gun industry. You're not really a gun lover because you don't like lead. Well, lead is poison. Let's get that out of the way first off. There's no other way around it. There's no disputing that. Lead is poison. But here's what I'm really saying, and I'm not saying ban lead ammunition. There are people out there that want to ban lead ammunition, and the fact that it's poison gives them a lot of ammunition, so to speak, to do so. So I'm saying we should take steps so they lose their argument why they should ban lead ammunition. And first off, let's deal with the reloaders and the people who cast their lead bullets. Well, the very fact that you would say, we need to keep lead because I cast it. Well, that's a ridiculous argument. That's like saying, it doesn't matter what's best for 99.9% of the people. It only matters what's good for me. That's entitlement. That's garbage. And you people, if you think that way, then you might want to recycle a lot of your other arguments because it seems like you argue the opposite way a lot of the time. So let's just get that out of the way. That is not a good argument. That is going to hurt you as an individual because let's look at how many people reload or cast lead bullets. It's such a tiny little percentage of the whole that we shouldn't be making decisions based on that, period. But here's the thing. We don't even want to take that right away from that tiny percentage of people. We want them to still be able to use lead. And by doing that, I think if we start using polymer ammunition at the range and even sometimes for self-defense, like these round-nosed ones here from Interceptor that are great for the range and these cut ones from Ruger that are great for self-defense. If we start using those a lot, or we start using solid copper, like these Underwood Extreme Penetrators or these Corbon DPX here, these are great alternatives to lead and they're not poison. And if just the everyday average shooter started using these, then reloaders could use whatever they wanted because they're such a tiny percentage of the population and such a tiny percentage of the actual lead that's going out there that it wouldn't matter. The other side would no longer have an argument to ban lead ammunition. If we did that, they'd have to say, well, I guess there is no reason to ban it now because the gun owners actually took steps to get most of the lead out of the environment. Now, hunting, that's not going to be a big problem. Most hunters aren't leaving thousands of lead pellets around that are then eaten by birds or fish or whatever and then get into the bloodstreams of the food chain. That's really not happening. Hunters usually kill something, take it with them. And the rare time they do miss, how much are they really putting into the environment? Almost nothing. The big problem is people shooting at ranges. So if people shooting at ranges and indoor ranges, outdoor ranges, etc., we're using polymer or copper. I don't know, sometimes I say brass, but I mean copper ammunition. I always get those two metals in my head screwed up because, you put the copper in the brass, but regardless of what I say, people quote, or irregardless, as we'd say in West Virginia. But if we started doing that, if we took care of the majority of the problem, there'd be no reason to outlaw lead for people who want to cast their own bullets. Now, people who cast their own bullets, I don't know why you couldn't cast polymer bullets if you're casting them for the range. If you're casting them for hunting and stuff, yeah, that's fine. But I don't know why you couldn't cast polymer just as easy as you cast lead. And you should be able to reload polymer just as easily as you reload lead as long as it started being readily available. And let's face it, lead's going to get more and more expensive because lead, like I said, is poison. People aren't making it anymore in this country. All the lead you get is either imported or recycled because the gun industry alone isn't enough to maintain lead production in this country. It's not even enough to make it worth it. It's a tiny little drop in the bucket of what lead was used for, which is why they're all gone now. Because no one else uses lead because it is poisonous. So we're not going to be able to have lead forever anyway. I think it's going to go away on its own, and it's going to be hastened to its demise by people on the left or even the right, if they're environmentalists, who want to ban lead. But whereas I say, if we took care of the problem and we already shifted away from lead, we would take away their ability to make an argument to ban it. You'd still be able to use it for your reloading. Hunters would still be able to use it to hunt because they would be no real problem. The vast majority of people like me that just shoot at ranges, we wouldn't be using lead anymore, so that would solve the problem. And as I explained in other videos, cost is not an issue. You can produce 50 rounds of solid copper ammunition for about a penny a round more than you can produce 50 rounds of copper jacketed lead ammunition. So cost is not an issue. The polymer, I'm not exactly sure of the price, but I guarantee you can make polymer ammunition cheaper. So it wouldn't make a difference cost-wise. It wouldn't change how we practice. It wouldn't change how we learn to shoot. It wouldn't change anything about it except for the fact it would take the argument away from the other side. And then people who hunt, whatever, if you want to keep brain damaging yourself using lead, sitting in your garage molten lead, if that's your idea of a good time, you'd still be able to do that if we shifted away from lead for general use, like concealed carry, self-defense, range shooting, etc. Sports shooting, even sports shooting, because polymer would work great for cowboy action and stuff like that. So there's no reason to stay to it. And just thinking that we're trying to take your lead away from you by saying this is the opposite of what we're trying to do. Get it through your thick skulls. We're trying to make it to where they don't ban your lead. Eventually your lead's going to go away anyway, and we're going to have to shift. And what would be better, to gradually shift now on our own and be ready for it, or wait till the last minute when they go, no more lead, and then the ammunition suppliers are like, oh my God, we don't have any supplies, and we're not geared up to produce good ammunition at any quality rate that would actually give people ammunition that they need. And I know that sense didn't make a lot of sense. So ammunition is going to go up to $8 a round now because we have to stay in business and can't sell anything but this little short supply run we got. So that would kill us. That would hurt the gun industry. So all you, like I already said, guys out there that reload, and you know what I'm thinking in my head, we're not trying to take your lead away. We're trying to make it to where you can keep your lead and where hunters can keep their lead. We're just trying to move away from lead in places that it makes sense. So don't worry. No one's trying to take away your ability to give yourself brain damage.